and welcome to Racing in Queensland. I'm your host, Jesse McDonald, and this is my co-host, Paul Knight. Welcome, Paul.
Jess, it's lovely to be here with you at Christmas time.
Oh, it's fantastic. I just enjoy it.
It's beautiful. It's Thursday afternoon. What more would we rather be doing? Giving the early tips to our punters.
I just want to send a cheerio and a Merry Christmas to my girl Elise down in Melbourne, to her family down there, and hope you have a great day.
Not a kiss.
Well, you got to be quick for that one.
That's better.
Now, what a great, marvellous effort with your selections last week.
Yeah, it was good. 5 o'clock and Zero Rock, 2 winners. And then in one of the other races, I tipped Bianca Jewel and Starts Me Up, who ran second and third in the way that I tipped him. So, yeah, it was good. But I can't rest on my laurels. Hopefully there's some more winners in here and maybe a trifecta or two for our loyal followers.
Well, I'm sure there are. And moving on, we just got a bit of news with the industry infrastructure plan. Being that plan is based on the sale of Albion Park, and Clive Palmer willing to take him to court, or take Queensland Racing to court over the sale of it. It could be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it could be. Just a note, with Albion Park, Harold Park last Friday night ran their last harness meeting, so that's the end of an era down there in New South Wales. It was the spiritual home of harness racing and the greyhound racing down there at Harold Park. So it's run its last meeting last Friday night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these things do come to an end after time. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens and how we progress from here, Jess.
Well, no, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see what Mr. Palmer and Bob Bentley come up with, and time will tell.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Now, moving ahead, we're racing on Sunday this week at Doomben, seeing Saturday's Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to everyone. Sunday is Boxing Day, and we'll be at Doomben for Race 2, the Channel 7 BJ McLaughlin Stakes, a listed race for the 2-year-olds over 1,200 metres. My tips are 11, Military Grace, good winner at last start, the Kelway Girls Stakes. From the stablemate, number 3, Internal Revenue. I've thrown in 13, Danish Whiskey from the Liam Birchley stables, and for 4th I've thrown in Midnight Minx from the Alan Bailey stable, for those people looking for a quick little first 4, multiples, trifectas, you name it, I've got it.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear. I've got number 13 on top, Danish Whiskey, out of a Dane Shadow, out of a Sea Road mare. I've put it on top. I think
should handle the wet track.
Yeah, out of a Sea
Road. It will
be
wet.
Absolutely. It's going to be pouring out down there by all forecasts. So I put 13 on top. I'm putting in Wonderful You for second. Well, I do have my queries being by General Nadim on the wet surface. And I'm putting in the top weight Double Impact for third. So I've got 13, 6 and 1. Now it's time for that segment, Chasing the Bunny, where we catch up with our form expert,
Pat the dog.
And welcome back to our new episode, Chasing the Bunny, where I'm with our form expert, Greyhound Pat. And Pat, another successful week last week.
It was. It could have been slightly better, but we did get Elusive Pride home after a scratching in our top tip. But, we did okay.
Yeah, we did. I was happy anyway with the return.
Very good, mate. Very good, very good.
What do we got for us this week?
Well, we've got a similar sort of thing. A trickier than usual maiden final in race 3 tomorrow afternoon at Albion Park. There's not many runners, but how they'll finish is could be quite interesting. I'm just going to go with the 8 and the 7 to run in maybe a small trifecta. Yeah. And I'm the best dog I think is the 4, but I think you may have some difficulty actually getting to the lead here. But anyway, 8 from 7 in race 3.
Yep.
There's an interesting dog racing later on. It's only had the 1 run here, and I think it can probably do better. Race 5, number 8, Tabasco Flyer.
Righto. Who trains that?
That's Robert Dempsey up at Walloon, and a good trainer. And just a little bit unlucky last week. And it's desperate for an 8 box, and there's not an awful amount of speed in this race. So. And then finally, in race 10, a little dog that hasn't raced for a while, and it is little, it's only a small dog, but it's got good speed, Amy's Lakota. I'm quite keen on that. Hasn't raced since November, but drawn near the fence, it'd be very hard to beat in that race.
Just with dogs, if they haven't had a run for a while, is it like with horses where they might take a while to get into fitness, or are they pretty...
They should. If the tricky part is, the question is why they haven't raced.
Right.
That generally means that there's been maybe a little niggling injury, or because generally speaking they can race for long periods of time, weekly, if not more. So, yeah, that's my worry with dogs that haven't raced for a little while, is what's actually happened to them.
So have we had any further developments with finding a U-turn track yet in Queensland?
Look, just none.
None?
Just none, no. And
Maybe...
you'll often... Yeah, nothing that I've heard of, and nothing good. And the Deegan Ipswich, I dare not call it a fiasco, but...
that's just pending the sale of Albion Park.
Yeah, which may not go ahead, and, all difficult questions for, I'm sure, for greyhound trainers and owners and breeders.
Well, with the industry infrastructure under the under the provised plan that Albion Park is sold, that will go ahead pending that. As stated on this show, we're going to, we have made highlights of Clive Palmer's big interest to put a halt to the sale.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens and the developments of the industry infrastructure, which is going to involve $200 million.
Yeah, look,
and the greyhounds seem to have copped the rear end of nothing.
Yeah, as time goes by, there's less and less greyhound tracks in southeast Queensland. Which just has really bad effects on trainers, breeders and owners, I would love to see a U-turn track or any just something, a new track. A
new track.
To rejuvenate the industry,
Well, I'm sure we're going to be pushing for a new track, hopefully 2 or 3 even.
Would be fantastic.
Well, till then, to next week, hope you have a Merry Christmas, Pat.
Merry Christmas to all the viewers.
And a great New Year, and hope it's a fun and enjoyable one. And to the viewers out there, hope you have a great Christmas. Anyway, that's another segment of Chasing the Bunny.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. That's Pat the dog with Chasing the Bunny. Now we move into race 4, the Patnack Farm Vorogue Plate. It's a Group 3 race over the 1,350 metres for the 3-year-olds. My selections for this race are number 11, Bianca Jewel, 4, Starts Me Up, 5, Felino, and for the first 4, I've thrown in Bright Expectations from the Gay Waterhouse stable up here with Chris Muntz.
Well, it's going to be hard to beat, no doubt. When Gay ever goes anywhere, she's always competitive.
She is.
Looking at the race, I've got Benny's Buttons on top. He let me down last week, but I think he's ready to bend back.
Bounce back that'd be.
Well, bend back, I reckon he'll bend around that turn and he'll be straight into it.
Beautiful.
So I like Benny's Buttons on top. I'll put in Felino for second. The Fuaiishi Pegasus gelding.
Fuaiishi Pegasus.
That's him. I've put him in for second. I'm putting in Moss River for third. So I've got 7, 5 and 12. Jeez, it's hot in here, isn't it?
It is. It's a tad warm tonight. Now, we move to another segment with, what are we on to
now?
Need
to Breed.
The Need to Breed with Steve Morley from Glenlogan Park. So we'll hand you over to Steve and we'll see you soon.
Glenlogan Park with stud manager Steve Morley. Steve, can you tell us a bit of history about the park?
Well, I've been here, Glenlogan's been going for over 20 years. I've been here for the last 10, and during that time I think Glenlogan have taken some fantastic steps, and our sire roster is now certainly amongst some of the best in Australia, and we've got horses that challenge for right up there on the side tables with Showa Heart and Jetspur in particular, and a couple of really exciting ones to come with Real Saga and Red Alma as well.
How many stallions do you stand here?
Got 6 stallions this season, those 4 that I've just mentioned, plus Bradbury's Luck and Falvalon. And Falvalon's just got such a good use here, especially in the Queensland market. He's in the top 10 2-year-old stallions at the moment. He always does a terrific job. And this Cuta 600 money, which is just fantastic, he is so suited to that. And basically, with a terrific stallion like Sequalo probably coming to the end of his days, Falvalon really looks like the next Sequalo, if you want to put it that way.
We're coming up to the Magic Millions sales, and you've got a beautiful draft of 24 horses. Can you tell us a bit about the draft?
Yeah, really consistent draft right across the board. We've the last few years we've provided some really good horses from our draft. Your Mimi LeBrox, Love Conquers All, Turak Toff, She's Mina, and the list goes on. We've been competitive right throughout all of Australia with our horses. And again, we've got some terrific individuals. Probably my two favourite colts would be the Belvedere Jetspur colt, who is just a unit, and I'm pretty sure that when buyers get to look at him, they'll probably write one word, and that'll be awesome. He is a fantastic horse. And another really nice show of heart colt out of a mare called Skybar, and he's very similar to Turak Toff, and I'm sure a lot of people will see that. Then we've got fillies that are deep in pedigree and got the looks to match. The 11's Flying Spur filly she's just all class. She's come on in leaps and bounds, and she's very athletic, and so too is probably Show of Heart's horse out of Devil Inside, the beautiful filly, just a lovely first foal.
Well, it sounds like a fabulous draft and exciting times coming up to the Magic Million sales for 2011. Look forward to seeing you, and all the best.
Thank you very much.
I'm with Steve Morley, stud manager from Glen Logan Park. It's always great catching up with Steve out at Glen Logan.
Oh, it is. He's a very interesting man, Steve.
They've got a wonderful draft out there.
They have lovely draft of yearlings coming up for the upcoming Magic Millions sales starting on the 12th of January. They have a lovely draft, yes.
I think, they've definitely... You could go to sirecam.com and check out all their yearlings as well online. Now...
Moving to race 5, the Brisbane International Burnborough Handicap. Listed race, the third of the black type races at Doomben on Sunday over the 1650 metres. Now, interestingly, I've tipped a Glen Logan bred horse here, or by a Glen Logan stallion, actually. Number 6, Jazz Hart from the Brian Guy stable. He's by Show of Heart, the resident stallion out there at Glen Logan.
Champion.
Yeah, he's going along very good. And that I think they've found the key to Jazz Hart. He's won his last 2, likes the distance, doesn't mind a bit of sting out of the track. For second, I've thrown in from the Tony Gollan stable, Lissen's Son, who's been in very good form recently. For third, we've thrown in Eskimo Dan. He's a bit of a roughie in my book, but he likes the sting out of the ground. He's trained by Bevan Lemming. And for fourth, I've thrown in Ghetto Blaster, the top weight from the Gillian Heinrich stable. Jess, what have you come up here?
Well, I don't believe it. I've got Jazz Hart on top as well.
Mate, I told you you're looking at my selections far too much.
I've made it an absolute laydown, Mazaire. I think it is a certainty, and I'm on all the way to the bank. It's had 11 starts at the distance for 5 wins, and it's had 11 starts at the track for 4 wins. So it obviously loves the track. It loves the distance. Trained by Brian Guy. Chrissy Munt's in the saddle. I think this horse is an absolute laydown, Mazaire, and I'm just on all the way. I'm putting in Listen Son for second by Big Jesse out of backstage there.
Geez, you have looked at my selections, haven't you?
I've got it in for second. I'm putting in Eskimo Dan for third. So very close there. I think they're almost exactly the same. So
that is exactly the same. What's happened, Jess?
Well, you're on fire, so I might as well jump on the bandwagon and get on and follow you, eh?
Exactly. Well, hopefully we get the trifecta in the first 4 and there'll be a big payout there.
That would be lovely. Well, that's our Christmas special for this year, and thank you for joining us during the year, for watching this show. It's been a pleasure working with you, Knightsy.
Always a pleasure to work with you, Jess.
And no doubt I'll be seeing you next week for another episode of Racing Queensland.
You will be. It'll be the New Year's edition.
Well, thanks for joining us. Join us next week on another episode. Bye for now. Glen Logan Park stud manager Glenn Morley.
No, he's a tosser. Steve Morley. You'd think he'd know me, wouldn't you? Fair dinkum, what a goose.
Glenn, I got Glen Logan. What a goose.
You need some blooper, you need to...
Yeah. All right. I'm at Glen Logan Park